There exists a herbal supplement that works similar to SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, which limit the reabsorption of serotonin, meaning you'll have increased levels of serotonin, a neurotransmitter responsible with wide-ranging effects on mood and cognition, and directly impacting the feeling of happiness. I stumbled on it by random chance one time in a sleepy rural town in New South Wales, Australia. I was working on big and dirty sheep farms. I had been traveling for half a year and needed to make some money urgently to keep on going. The town was called Wellington, a once infamous meth headquarters. A lot of violence and drug dealing. Some 2 years back, there was a huge drug bust. I didn't like Wellington's eerie silence. I didn't like the smell of the sheep farms or dealing with wool infested by maggots or the insane work ethic of Australian farmers. But I liked traveling, and so consequently, I liked money, and wool handling paid well. I wanted to take something to make the days go by easier. I definitely didn't want to take what Wellington was known for. I also didn't care to wash my brain out with alcohol, like everyone around me was doing. I looked through the drug section of the town's grocery store and stumbled on the herbal supplement, St. John's Wort. The big label said mood balance. On the back, it said nervous system relaxant. I went back to my cabin at the caravan park and took a pill. In about 30 minutes, some gray clouds parted in my mind. I relaxed, but not in a sedated way. I even felt a kind of calm and buzz of bright energy. St. John's wort is a very unusual supplement. Wort is a medieval term meaning medicinal plant. It's been used in traditional medicine since classical antiquity. Throughout medieval Europe, St. John's wort was known to be a cure-all, with some calling it Lord God's wonder plant or devil's scourge. The commonly ascribed name throughout the West, St. John's wort, was given because it blooms during St. John's the Baptist Day, around June. It's actually a noxious weed, with the lineage name of Hypericum perforatum. Compounds within it are toxic to large animals, primarily, and ironically, to sheep. There are different plants that refer to St. John's wort within the family of Hypericacea. Perforatum, what is used in pill form, has an abundance of hypericin and hyperforin, which are both believed to be the active ingredient for the weed's antidepressant effects. The research on hypericin is fascinating. This is a chromophore molecule that plays an active role in the photosynthesis that occurs in the plant. For some people, it's responsible for the side effect of photosensitivity, being visually sensitive to light. So, hypericin has been studied for decades as an agent in anti-cancer photodynamic therapy and diagnosis. That means the use of ultraviolet light to both destroy and detect cancer cells. Further, hypericin has antibiotic and antiviral properties when activated by ultraviolet light, and shown to induce the death of skin cancer cells. It's a molecule that deserves an entire video. But what you need to know is that when it's ingested in the extracted pill form of the perforatum plant, it aids to increase dopamine levels while decreasing epinephrine through releasing an enzyme called dopamine beta hydroxylase. Now, the antidepressant effects of hypericin and the mechanisms of action haven't been as seriously or consistently studied as those of hyperforin. Hyperforin is the primary molecule responsible for the plant's antidepressing property. It acts similar to an SSRI, primarily targeting monoamines, which include serotonin and dopamine. It has been consistently found that due to hyperforin, St. John's wort is as effective for mild to moderate depression as prescribed antidepressants, and with lesser side effects. So it's safer to take than SSRIs, and it's over the counter and cheaper, though more research is needed for severe depression over long-term use. A 2016 study concluded, compared to SSRIs, St. John's wort extract is equally effective and has superior safety in the management of depression patients. Since St. John's wort has been used for hundreds of years to curb depression, this is one case where folk medicine has supported the findings of modern medicine. Now, when looking at the side effects, for the average person, they're quite mild and laughable when in the face of the myriad problems of traditional SSRIs. One unusual thing to note is photosensitivity. Some people can get very sensitive to light. Long-term use may make you more susceptible to photosensitivity both in the retina and on the skin, so photosensitivity for some might be the main deterrent to taking St. John's wort. And there's one immediate side effect that seriously needs to be highlighted. St. John's wort can interact and severely weaken the efficacy of other medications, which can potentially result in severe reactions. These include other antidepressants, birth control pills, and heart medication. In the sheep farm, I was taking 2 doses of St. John's wort a day, about 600 milligrams, and the effects on anxiety and mood were tremendous. I felt happier, less worried when dealing with sheep shit. It's been 4 months since the sheep farm, and now as I'm supplementing it, I don't notice any adverse effects, but but I feel like when I was at first taking it, I used to get tension headaches. I'm not entirely sure it was due to the supplement or some other factor. So far, St. John's wort has also been a wonder drug for productivity. Since it increases serotonin, it does have an effect on attention, and the results, when I take it in the morning, last well into the evening. But wait, after going down the rabbit hole of research, I found something very alarming. And even though I think St. John's wort is a great alternative to normal antidepressants and prescription medication, I think that you should know about this and take it into consideration. In a study done on human cells in 2007, it showed that hypericin was phototoxic to the retina and could contribute to retina degeneration. The study claims hypericin is capable of crossing the blood-retinal barrier and has been shown to induce apoptosis in retinal pigment epithelia and human lens epithelial cells. Now, to critically examine such findings, we have to know the difference between in vitro and in vivo studies. In vitro is research done on either animals or human cells. In vivo is done on actual living human or animal participants. Both have their advantages and disadvantages. In vitro helps reduce the biological complexity of testing on entire organisms, letting us see cause and effect interactions with high specificity, while in vivo achieves a full-scale analysis, although with more unreliable results since the variables are much greater. What is done to a single cell may not be the whole story of what can be done to an entire organism. That's why both in vivo and in vitro studies are conducted, with neither having a greater preference to scientific truth over another. We know based on user reports over a long-term period that visual sensitivity to light may occur. However, it does not seem to be permanent and will gradually revert to normal once usage stops. Again, a long-term study needs to be done, but as of right now, in all its multi-decade usage, no one has become blind from taking St. John's wort. The FDA would surely have cracked down on it. The frequent abusers have receded happily back under the surface of the earth, in caves and underground passages, their eyes too sensitive even for them to look at a screen long enough to make a Reddit post. Seriously though, St. John's wort can potentially get someone off the hazards of prescription meds, and on the path to living with fulfillment again. For being around for so long, it seems not many know about it, and they really should. If you made it this far, thank you. Give a like and recommend me another drug you're interested in me covering.